Darkness surrounded the small alien ship. Its lights flickered. The engines were almost dead. Inside, the crew moved quickly, their faces full of fear. Every sound echoed through the metal halls. The ship had been running for days, and it had no place left to hide. Captain Lero, a tall figure with deep green skin and 4 black eyes, stood on the bridge. His hands were shaking. The ship was damaged, and the energy levels were too low. He knew the danger was still out there, hunting them in the dark. "We've lost contact with the last relay station," said Officer Darn, staring at the broken screen. "There's no one left." "Try again," Lero replied. "Send the SOS. One more time. Maybe someone will hear us." "But Captain," Darn whispered, "what if they hear it too?" Lero didn't answer. He already knew the risk. The thing that chased them, the one that destroyed their homeworld, might follow the signal. But doing nothing meant certain death. The crew had no weapons strong enough, no speed to escape. They were just prey now. The ship's emergency lights turned red. The AI voice spoke slowly. "Life support at 36%, engines at 12%, hull breach detected in Sector 9. Lero looked around at his crew. Some were praying. Others stared blankly at the control panels. Everyone was tired, hungry, afraid. He took a deep breath. "Send the signal," he said. Darn pressed the button. A weak pulse of light and sound went out into space. It carried one simple message. "This is the Husqari ship Echo 7. We are under attack. Anyone who can help, please respond. Coordinates attached." Nothing happened at first. A few seconds passed, then a minute, then 5. "It's no use," whispered the engineer, slumped against the wall. "No one is coming." Then the screen lit up. A single reply appeared. 4 words. Cold. Strange. Help received. Human vessel inbound. Everyone froze. "Humans?" whispered Lero. "They're real?" "I thought they were myths," said Darn. "Stories told by old traders. From a death world. From Earth." Lero stared at the message again. Humans were known only in rumors. Stories of wild creatures, evolved in pain, raised in violence. A species born from a planet full of storms, volcanoes, beasts, and poison. No one dared visit Earth. No one dared invite them anywhere. They were too dangerous. "What have we done?" the engineer said quietly. The ship trembled. A distant sound echoed across the hull. Something was close. The message repeated. "Human. Vessel inbound. Prepare for docking." Lero looked at his crew. "We don't have a choice. Let them come. Maybe the stories are wrong." Outside the ship, space remained silent. Then, from the darkness, a new shape appeared. It was massive. Thick armor covered its surface. Red lights glowed like angry eyes. It didn't look like a rescue ship. It looked like a beast. It was the Vengeance. No one on the Husqari ship spoke as the human ship came closer. The screens showed every detail. Giant cannons lined the sides. The engines burned with strange blue fire. It moved like a predator, slow but full of power. A message came through the speakers. A human voice. Deep, calm, almost emotionless. "This is Captain Royce of the Terran warship Vengeance. We received your distress call. Prepare for boarding." Lero hesitated. "Let them board," he said. A moment later, a sharp sound rang through the halls. The human ship had connected. Airlocks clicked. Doors hissed. The crew gathered near the entrance, weapons ready, but hands shaking. The door opened. 3 humans stepped in, tall, covered in black armor. Their eyes scanned everything. They didn't speak. Behind them rolled a small floating machine scanning the ship's air, walls, and crew. One of the humans removed his helmet. Captain Royce had sharp eyes and a hard face. His skin was pale, his voice quiet but strong. "Your ship is damaged. You called for help. We are here." Lero stepped forward. "We thank you, but why send a warship?" Royce looked him in the eyes. "Because something is chasing you. Something strong enough to make you send a signal into space even knowing others could hear it. We don't take chances. If it's dangerous enough to scare you, we treat it as a threat," the crew whispered among themselves. The humans' words were not warm, not gentle, but they were clear. "We are being hunted," Lero admitted. "They destroyed our world. We don't even know what they are." Royce nodded. "Then we will find out. Until then, your ship is under our protection. Follow our lead." The humans spread out across the Huskari ship. They moved fast, checking systems, patching holes, installing small devices no one could understand. They didn't explain. They just worked. Lero followed Royce through the corridors. "You've seen things like this before?" Royce didn't look back. "We've seen worse." In the control room, one of the Huskari engineers accessed the Vengeance's logs. Just a small peek. He wasn't supposed to, but curiosity won. He saw footage, battles, explosions, alien ships torn apart, planets burning. He saw humans fighting hand-to-hand with creatures twice their size, and winning. He saw them walking through fire, swimming, through poison, surviving in places where no one else could. He turned pale. He shut the logs quickly. "They are not rescuers," he whispered. "They are weapons." Outside the ship, something moved again, a ripple in space. The crew rushed to the viewing screen. Far away, something was coming. Fast, big. The human sensors lit up. "Contact detected," said the human AI. "Multiple vessels. Energy levels high. Approach speed. Hostile." Lero looked at Royce. "It's them. They found us." Royce didn't blink. "Then we fight. But we're outnumbered." Royce smiled slightly. "You are. We're not." Alarms sounded. The Vengeance disconnected and moved between the Huskari ship and the enemy. Lights along its hull turned red. Weapons charged. A wall of firepower aimed straight into the dark. The aliens watched in silence. For the first time, they felt not fear, but something else, something heavy. Like standing near a sleeping beast, Royce stood on his bridge, hands behind his back. "They cried for help," he said. "Let's show them how Deathworlders answer." Then he gave the order. "Open fire." In space, the first shot from the Vengeance lit up the dark like a sun. The human ship, the Vengeance, moved slowly toward the damaged alien vessel. Its heavy frame seemed to fill the empty space. The aliens inside watched in silence, their hearts pounding like never before. They were not sure what to expect. The humans had arrived, but would they be friends or something else? Captain Lero stood by the window, staring out at the massive warship. The red and blue lights on its hull blinked steadily, like the heartbeat of a giant. The air inside the alien ship felt colder now. The crew whispered quietly, trying to understand the humans' strange calmness. Suddenly, a voice came through the speakers. It was deep and steady, a voice that seemed to fill the entire ship. "This is Captain Royce of the Terran warship Vengeance. We are here to help. Please prepare for boarding." Lero nodded to his officers. "Open the airlock," he said. The Yaoi doors hissed and slowly slid open. 3 figures stepped inside. They moved carefully, their black suits shining under the dim lights. Their faces were calm, almost unreadable. One of the humans removed his helmet. His eyes were sharp and alert. "I am Captain Royce," he said quietly. "We received your call. Tell us what happened." Lero took a deep breath. "Our home was attacked by machines we do not understand. They destroyed everything. We escaped, but they are chasing us. We sent the SOS hoping for help." Captain Royce listened without interrupting. Then he spoke. "You called for help and we came. But we are not simple rescuers. We are prepared to defend." The alien crew exchanged nervous looks. They had heard stories about humans, tough, fearless, and strong. But now, standing so close, they could see it for themselves. These humans were different from anyone they had ever met. The humans began moving through the ship. They checked the damage, fixed broken systems, and connected strange devices. Their actions were quick and sure. No one asked questions. They just worked. Lero followed Captain Royce into the control room. "Why come like this?" he asked. "Why bring such a large ship for a simple rescue?" Royce looked out the window, at the dark space beyond. "Because what chases you is not small. It is powerful. And it will not stop." The alien engineer, curious and cautious, watched the humans carefully. One of them was typing rapidly on a console, bringing up images of distant battles. The scene showed ships burning, creatures fighting, and worlds in chaos. The aliens shuddered. These humans had been through much. They had faced terrible dangers before. That knowledge gave the alien crew a strange feeling, a mix of fear and hope. Suddenly, alarms sounded. The alien radar officer looked up in alarm. "Incoming ships, many of them. They are fast and closing in." Captain Royce did not hesitate. "Prepare the ship. We will face them together." The human ship moved to stand between the alien vessel and the incoming threat. Bright lights flashed on its sides. Its systems hummed with energy. The alien crew watched as the humans readied themselves, steady and confident. Lero asked quietly, "How can one ship stand against so many?" Captain Royce smiled just a little. "Because it is not just a ship. It is the answer to every danger." The aliens could only watch as the space around them grew brighter with approaching ships. The tension was thick, but the humans did not show fear. Instead, they worked calmly, prepared for what was coming. As the enemy ships drew near, the human captain spoke again. "You asked for help. Now watch how Deathworlders protect those in need." The first light from the human ship's weapons cut through the dark like a blade. It was the beginning of a fight none would forget. Space was quiet again, but the silence did not last long. The alien crew and the humans aboard the ships waited, watching the distant points of light grow larger. The shapes of the approaching fleet became clearer, vast and endless. The threat was not small. It was a dark force moving closer with purpose. Captain Lero stood at the observation window, his eyes fixed on the stars. He felt a heavy weight on his chest. The fleet was not like anything he had ever seen before. It was cold and silent but full of power. The ships moved in perfect formation like a single living being. Behind him, Captain Royce studied the same scene. "They are called the Devourers," Lero explained quietly. "Machines that destroy worlds. They came to our home and tore it apart. We barely escaped." Royce's face was serious. "We will not let them take another world. Not if we can stop them." The aliens on the ship whispered among themselves. They had heard stories of Deathworlders before, but seeing the humans' calm courage gave them hope. The humans worked quickly, repairing, upgrading, and preparing the alien ship for what was coming. The crew watched as the humans connected strange devices to the ship's walls. The machines hummed softly, filling the air with energy. Lero did not understand everything, but he trusted Captain Royce. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped loudly. The enemy fleet was close. Too close. "Prepare for what's next," Royce said calmly. The alien crew felt their hearts race. The humans moved with quiet confidence. They prepared the ship for defense, not by hiding or running, but by standing their ground. Lero remembered the stories he had heard about Earth, a world filled with storms, beasts, and endless dangers. The humans who came from there were said to be tough and fearless. Now, he could see why. The distant ships grew larger, casting shadows across the stars. The enemy moved closer like a wave, unstoppable and vast. The humans did not flinch. Royce gathered the crew. "This is more than a fight for survival. This is a stand to protect what we hold dear. If we fall, others will fall too. We fight for all who cannot fight." The alien crew felt something new, a strength rising inside them. They would not run anymore. They would stand with the Deathworlders. Then, the first bright lights appeared on the horizon. The sky seemed to fill with fire, not from destruction, but from power and determination. Royce spoke again. They tested us before. Now we show them what it means to face Deathworlders' wrath. The ship moved forward slowly, a great shadow against the stars. The enemy ships formed a circle, closing in. The silence was broken by the sound of energy and machines waking up. Lyra watched as the humans adjusted the controls, their eyes sharp and steady. The alien crew held their breath. The first beams of light shot forward, not to destroy but to protect, to push back. The energy lit the darkness like a sunrise after a long night. The enemy ships responded, moving faster, closing the distance. But the humans stood firm. Their ship was more than metal and machines, it was a fortress of will and courage. The alien crew cheered quietly. They could not believe what they were seeing. The humans fought not with anger, but with a calm strength that inspired all. As the battle began, Lyra knew one thing for sure. This was not just a fight for survival. This was the beginning of a new hope. The stars glimmered faintly through the thick viewports of the alien ship, but the crew hardly noticed. Their eyes were fixed on the horizon where the dark shapes of the enemy fleet loomed, still circling closer, silent but unstoppable. The air was thick with tension, but beneath it was a new feeling, determination. A fire sparked deep inside them, fueled by the presence of the humans beside them. Captain Lyra stood beside Captain Royce on the bridge. The human's calm and steady gaze never left the space beyond. His quiet confidence was like a shield. Lyra wished he could feel the same calm, but his heart raced. He could see the fear in the eyes of his crew, yet also the growing hope. Why do they come like this? Lyra asked softly, nodding toward the dark ships. Why don't they speak? Why such silence? Royce's eyes narrowed slightly. They are not interested in words. Their purpose is simple: to take, to consume, to destroy. They do not bargain. They do not listen. Lyra shivered. The stories were true then. These creatures were not like any they had faced before. The humans were the only ones brave enough to stand with them. The ship's engines hummed quietly, the repaired systems buzzing with new life. The humans had worked quickly to patch holes and boost the ship's power. Strange machines connected to the walls glowed softly, pulsing with energy. The aliens didn't understand, but they trusted. Suddenly, the alien sensors beeped a new warning. The enemy ships were changing formation, moving faster now. The circle was tightening. The space around them felt smaller, darker. Royce's voice cut through the tension, calm but firm. Prepare for what's coming next. This is not just a test, it is a challenge. The crew braced themselves. The humans moved with purpose, their hands steady as they worked the controls. Every movement was precise, practiced. Lyra turned to one of his engineers. What do these devices do? The engineer shrugged. They say it helps the ship resist. But how? I do not know. It feels like the ship is alive again. The alien crew felt the power inside the ship grow. It was like a heartbeat, slow and strong, pulsing through every corridor. Outside, the enemy ship surged forward, faster and louder. The darkness was filled with strange lights, glowing orbs of energy that moved like silent hunters. Lyra felt a chill. They are close now, Royce nodded. Hold steady, we face this together. The alien crew gathered, watching as the humans prepared for the final moments before the clash. The fear was still there, but it was fading. Something new was rising. Courage. The first light burst forth, a bright wave of energy from the human ship that did not destroy but pushed back. The enemy ships hesitated, surprised by the strength they faced. Keep pushing, Royce commanded. Show them what we defend. The alien ship seemed to respond to the humans' power. The strange machines glowed brighter. The engines thrummed louder. It was as if the ship itself had woken from a deep sleep. The enemy ships tried to close again, but the humans held their ground. The battle was not just about strength. It was about will, about standing firm, even when the odds seemed impossible. Lero looked around. His crew was no longer silent. They whispered words of hope, their eyes shining with new light. They were not just passengers anymore. They were fighters, ready to stand with the Deathworlders. Royce turned to Lero. This is more than a fight. It is a promise. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. The alien captain nodded. We will stand with you. As the energy waves continued to ripple through space, the stars above seemed to shine brighter, as if watching this new alliance form. The battle was far from over, but in that moment, hope burned brighter than fear. The silence after the first wave was heavy, but it was not peaceful. The alien ship floated quietly among the stars, surrounded by the glowing remains of energy pulses that had pushed back the enemy. The crew moved slowly, eyes wide with a mixture of awe and exhaustion. None of them had expected the humans to be so powerful, so calm in the face of danger. Captain Lero stood in the center of the bridge, his thoughts racing. He looked at the humans working beside his crew, so focused, so sure of themselves. The human captain, Royce, moved through the room with steady steps, his calm voice cutting through the tension like a knife. This is only the beginning, Royce said quietly. We have pushed them back for now, but they will return. The alien crew exchanged worried looks. The machines chasing them were relentless, endless. The humans' courage inspired them, but the danger was still very real. The ship's systems hummed as engineers checked every panel and wire. Strange lights blinked on consoles the aliens barely understood. The humans worked quickly, fixing what was broken and preparing new defenses. Lero walked over to one of the younger engineers. How long can we hold? He asked softly. The engineer shook his head. Not long without help. Their fleet is too large, too fast. Royce overheard and stepped forward. Then we must find a way to end this. Running will only delay the inevitable. Lero nodded, his mind racing. He knew they had to act, but how? The humans had power and skill, but the enemy's numbers seemed endless. Suddenly an idea came to him. The ancient ruins on our home planet, he said. There are stories of great machines there. Machines with power beyond anything we know. Maybe we can use them. Royce's eyes lit up. Show me. The crew quickly prepared for the journey. The ship's engines roared to life as they left the safety of space and headed toward the distant planet. The journey was tense. Everyone waited, hoping the legends were true. As they approached the planet, the view changed. Below, vast ruins stretched across the landscape. Great towers and strange machines, covered in vines but still glowing faintly. The ship's sensors picked up energy readings that made the humans and aliens both hold their breath. Landing was tricky. The planet's surface was rough, the ruins old and mysterious. The crew moved carefully, stepping off the ship into the unknown. Captain Royce led the way, his eyes scanning for danger. Lero followed close behind, feeling the weight of history around him. The air was thick with mystery and silence. The ruins seemed alive in some way, humming softly with a power long forgotten. The crew spread out, searching for the machines Lero had spoken of. They found control panels, strange crystals, and giant mechanisms covered in ancient symbols. Royce touched one of the crystals and suddenly the ground shook lightly. Lights flickered on across the ruins. The machines were waking. Lero smiled faintly. We may have found our answer. The humans and aliens worked together, using the ancient controls to power up the machines. Slowly, the ruins came to life, lighting up the dark planet. Back in space, the enemy fleet waited, unaware of the new power rising on the planet below. The humans and aliens prepared their next move, hope growing stronger with each passing moment. This was no longer just a fight for survival. It was a battle for the future, one that would decide the fate of many worlds. The ruins glowed brighter as the ancient machines slowly came to life. Captain Royce and Lero stood side by side, watching the light spread across the landscape. The power was unlike anything they had seen before. It was quiet, strong, and full of promise. The crew gathered around the controls, their faces filled with hope and determination. For the first time in a long time, they believed they had a chance, not just to survive, but to win. The ancient machines began to hum, sending waves of energy into the sky. The atmosphere seemed to change. The dark clouds that had once covered the planet started to part, revealing clear stars and distant suns. Royce looked out over the horizon. This power is what we needed. The Devourers won't expect this. Lero nodded. They think they are unstoppable, but they have never faced the strength of Deathworlders and their allies. Back in space, the enemy fleet approached again, larger and faster than before. The darkness seemed to pulse with their arrival. But the humans and aliens were ready. The ruins' power had given them new strength and new hope. The ship's engines roared louder as they prepared for the final stand. The humans moved with quiet confidence, setting up shields and focusing energy beams. The aliens worked alongside them, operating the ancient machines as one team. The first wave of enemy ships appeared, moving quickly through space. But this time, the humans did not wait. They moved forward, the ancient power flowing through their ship and their hearts. The light from their shields lit up the stars, a bright beacon of resistance. The enemy ships slowed, caught off guard by the sudden strength. Lero felt a surge of pride. We fight not just for ourselves, but for all who need protection. Royce smiled. Together, we are stronger than they can imagine. The battle began once more, but it was different now. The humans and aliens worked as one, their movements fluid and strong. The energy from the ancient machines flowed through, their weapons and shields giving them power beyond the ordinary. The enemy fleet tried to close in, but the combined force was too strong. Slowly, the dark ships were pushed back, their numbers shrinking under the new power. Inside the ship, the crew cheered quietly. They could feel the change, hope growing stronger with every moment. Lero turned to Royce. This is just the beginning. Together, we will protect the galaxy. Royce nodded. The Deathworlders do not give up, and neither will we. As the enemy retreated, the stars seemed to shine brighter. The ancient machines continued to hum, a promise of strength and unity for the future. The humans and aliens stood together, ready for whatever would come next. They had faced darkness and won, and they knew their story was far from over.